Hello there. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Julie. This is my journal, and I know I look like hell, but I don't feel like hell. I still have this pretty lingering cough. I am about, I don't know that I'm halfway yet. I'd have to count them through my antibiotics, but it's coming along. We're doing it. We're getting there. And I was starting to have just a spot of a pity party this morning. And then, which was silly because I was having actually a pretty decent morning. It's because I couldn't sleep. These last 2 nights, I have not slept well. Just the hacking, And so I was venturing into pity party land. But then I changed gears, which is a good idea, and started planning again. And I've got my super awesome planning book. This is, I don't know where, probably we got this out of the dumpsters is my guess. But anyway, I've added all kinds of beautiful things to it over the years. And it's one of my travel planning books. And I am working on the plans for the one-on-one trips that I have going on, or coming up rather. Excuse me. This year in the fall, hopefully September, is what we're planning. I will be traveling with my youngest, Mariah. It's her turn. And we'll be going mainly to Maryland. That'll be our home base. She did a state report and float. It was so much fun last year at school on Maryland. And for the wax museum last year, they pick a character and they do a thing about it. And she was Edgar Allan Poe, which, I love Edgar Allan Poe, and he died in Maryland. And so anyway, Maryland, specifically Baltimore, will be our home base. But I've also been looking at, the things within reasonable driving distance. And if any of these are familiar to you guys, please do tell us. I will mention Mariah is also interested in history and historical sites, which is really exciting. She also wants to do, the fun stuff. We want to go to the beach, and we're looking at Ocean City, Maryland. But she is also interested in seeing some of the Civil War sites. So that's exciting. So I was kind of looking at getting all the way up to Gettysburg because, that's, it doesn't get much more famous than that. Let me grab a cough drop. Okay, that's the other part of my little pity party, is the inability to talk or laugh without, horrible coughing. Anyway, God. So we were looking at getting up to Pennsylvania, to Gettysburg. And along the way, I saw a couple of things. For instance, the Ladue Topiary Gardens. That looks amazing. And then also Crystal Cave in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. Looks amazing. So I was looking at some of that, and then her and I both are in love with, the whole family is in love with the show The Office, but Mariah and I developed a special affinity for it, a special bond together on our Disney World trip, because that was one of the shows that we just ended up watching together in our hotel and just loving, which I already loved, but it was so fun to introduce her to it. And so being that close, relatively, it's relative, but being that pretty close to Scranton, which is where the show is set. Most of it's not recorded there, but that's where the show is set. It might be interesting to head up there. The problem is that is a bit of a drive, and I don't want to invest too much of our vacation time into driving and take on too much. I find that I do that. often with any of my trips that are not to Disney parks. I want to hit everything that's even remotely within driving distance, and that ends up being a problem. So it's not like a priority to get up to Scranton, but it would be kind of cool. And there are other things along the way. The other problem I run into, though, is that I'm like, well, if we're going to do that, excuse me, then, what else is there also in the area or along the way? And so then, of course, I'm like, well, there's Hershey, Pennsylvania. And then you end up, what was going to be a 2-hour drive is now a 5-hour drive. And then I tell myself, well, but we could get a hotel in the area and devote like 2 days, to Pennsylvania and some of those things, in the area. Then, of course, there's back to Baltimore. We were looking at going into Washington, D.C., to hop, skip, and a jump, because we want to go to the American Girl doll store, and that be kind of a highlight, big part of our trip, to go and have lunch with our dolls and do that at the American Girl store. But yeah, the closest one in the area is in DC. Well, then how do you go all the way into DC and only go to the American Girl doll store? As an American, how do you only do that and not, swing by the White House and Arlington and, all of those things? So I'm opening up a bit of a can of worms. And so I'm going to, I do apologize, you guys, for the coughing. That's why I didn't do a journal yesterday, was when I start talking, it just keeps coming. But I was determined that January would be a journaling month. And so I'm trying my darndest, you guys. So thank you for being patient with me. But anyway, so what I think I need to do, what I'm going to do is, for now, just for my own mental and emotional satisfaction, I'm just going to keep dreaming and exploring and looking at these different options and things in the area. And then, of course, when Mariah gets home, we can, open up the laptop and look at these together and kind of, these are the ones that we're super excited about. For instance, the topiary garden, so excited. That's going to be fantastic. And then she was super excited. Well, she's super excited for the American Girl doll store, of course, but there were some other ones. I don't remember. I have a whole list here, you guys. A whole list. But anyway, Edgar Allan Poe's grave is another big one on her list. Anyway, so I think what we'll do is we'll look at them. We'll say, okay, these are the ones where 100%, yeah, we really want these. And then here are the things within a 10-mile or maybe let's say 20-mile radius of those. And then can we plot them together in a way that we could get a hotel, hotels in like 3 different areas. Because I had already booked a hotel for the whole stay in Baltimore, but I can change that because I booked one that will allow me to change it for free. So maybe we could just say, well, we're going to be in Baltimore for like 2 or 3 nights, a night in Pennsylvania, a night in Delaware, I don't know, a night somewhere outside of DC, something like that, and try to hit whatever we can feasibly, reasonably hit in, those other areas in 1 or 2 days, I am pretty excited that I should, knock on wood, barring any more disasters, physical disasters, I should be able to walk significant distances. And as soon as this freaking thing clears out of me, snow or no snow, we're covered in snow. We've had 2 big squalls in a row. It's been crazy. But snow or no snow, as soon as this is out of my lungs and my sinuses, I'm getting out there and walking. And so I foresee us being able to do a significant amount of walking, which really opens up a lot of possibilities. When I went on the trip this last year with Olivia to Portland, Oregon, definitely an issue that we ran into was recovering from my foot reconstruction. And so we still pushed it, and I used some pain meds, and it was amazing how much we did. But I see us being able to do a significant amount more. But then there's also, I've learned this over these years of doing these different trips with the kids. Can I just say how incredibly fortunate, and how grateful I am. I think about, a side tangent real quick. Oh, we could have done this or that to the house. I could have had a brand new car, probably paid off by now, blah, 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 if not for all these one-on-one trips. These years we will never get back. We'll never get them back. And the memories that we made together and that we will make together, those are absolutely priceless. So anyway, so grateful that it's something that I decided to do and that we've been able to do and to continue to do. But anyway, so what else was I looking at? But anyway, we should be able to do significantly more. But the thing that we do run into that is still a thought is the logistics always come into play. And that's something I have learned. That's what I was trying to say, that I have learned in these different trips is the logistics. Now, so many lucky things is that in the area where we're going there on the East Coast, everything is so close together. It's nothing like here on the West Coast, where it's so spread out. Things are very much closer together, which is wonderful and is useful. But there are still logistics. There is still the drive time. Mariah will be 12 by then, which is fantastic. So we're not, dragging a 7-year-old all over the place where, inevitably she would, get tired out. She can handle much more than she previously could. Like, for instance, when her and I went to Seattle. So that's a good thing. But we do still need to plan plenty of downtime, plenty of resting time, and plan for the logistics of getting from point A to point B, and then also mapping out the things that we want to see. Some, they'll be musts, and others will be, if we happen to feel up to it that day. Sometimes it might be, no, forget it. Let's just go to the hotel and let's just rest, or let's just swim. And that one little museum is, it's not worth our sanity that day or whatever. But have mapped out at least, okay, well, along the way between this place and your hotel are these 3 other things. And so if you do happen to be up to them, here's how much it costs. Here's where they are. Here's when they're open, that kind of thing. And that's what goes into planning these one-on-one trips, especially outside of the Disney parks, which, through the pandemic and whatnot, that's what we did, was just Disney parks, because that's what was available and had the value, where the rest of everything else was shut down. But now, we're out doing stuff and seeing stuff again, which is wonderful. It's exciting, and costs significantly less than our Disney parks trips. I'm also working on planning the trip for next year. It will be Reagan, my son's turn, and he'll be going on 16. Good Lord in heaven. Or he'll already be 16. No, he'll already be 16. Oh my God, by the time we go, because we're going to go summer 2025. Yeah, he'll be 16. Jesus Christ. 16. Oh my God. Well, anyhow, we're going to Alaska, Reagan and I. And so we spent a lot of time, he and I, planning that the last few days. But I want to spend today mostly working on Mariah's trip. One, because it's sooner. I mean, it's still not till September, but you want to really put time and effort and research into these kinds of trips. And we're going to be going so many places that we're not familiar with, or not terribly familiar with. And I want to have time in between now and then to watch the review videos and the suggestion videos and the locals videos, and then also do the historical research and stuff like that, and find out, when are they doing reenactments and, all those different things. I want to have all the details so that when we go, I mean, the trip won't be perfect. They're never perfect. Never. There's always something that goes wrong, and things that we learn, and getting stuck in the mountains behind wreck after wreck between Portland and the coast. And anyway, there's always stuff that goes wrong. Or Mariah burying her flip-flops on the beach and us not being able to find them. These things happen, and it's wonderful. Not at the time usually, but they're fun memories, that we laugh about. But I do want to have as much of it planned and prepared for the best possible scenario, for when we do go. And that takes time, especially with areas that I'm not even remotely familiar with. And so then that brings me back to you guys. Isn't it amazing what a cough drop can do? It's just a freaking cough drop. And I can talk. But any recommendations, suggestions, experiences that you guys have in the Maryland, any of Maryland, but specifically Baltimore and Ocean City, but really any of Maryland, DC, but without the emphasis on the monuments. Will we go and see them? It's possible. Is it possible to do it all in like a day, along with also doing the American Girl doll store with all the events that we're going to partake in there? I don't know. If you have thoughts on that, please do share. Let's see. Also, Pennsylvania, specifically to try to do Pennsylvania in a day. Obviously, we're not going to be able to do all of it, and definitely not if we were wanting to do like any theme parks or things, like specifically Hershey. I don't plan to do that. That's not on my list. But what I'm saying is, would you do Pennsylvania in a day? If you only had a day in Pennsylvania, what would you do? Which specific things would you say are priorities, are necessities, whatever? Are you familiar with Ladue Topiary Gardens or Crystal Cave in Cootstown? Are you familiar with the Sherwood Gardens, the original Washington Monument? We're talking in Maryland, not in DC, but the original Washington Monument. There's 223 steps you can climb up to the top. Very exciting. Or the Peabody Library, or any of the Sleepless in Seattle locations. Oh, I forgot I was going to tell you about that. So Sleepless in Seattle, the movie, starts in Baltimore, ends in New York, but goes to Seattle, then to New York. Anyway, Mariah and we went to Seattle on one of our one-on-one trips, and we did hit up some of the Sleepless in Seattle filming locations, including the houseboat. Her and my brother, lunatics, hopped the fence and went down the boardwalk to the house. Anyhow, I would really like to stop and see some of the filming locations. One of my favorite movies, Sleepless in Seattle. Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, good stuff. But I would love to stop and see some of the filming locations in Baltimore for the movie. So if you guys have any thoughts on those, please tell me. And then, there's the Howard Peter Rawlings Conservatory and Botanic Gardens, the Evergreen Museum and Library, a number of sea-going vessels there in the harbor, like the SS Constellation, and the Torsk, that's the submarine. Let's see, we're looking at doing a Chesapeake cruise, like a dinner cruise type thing, like putting on, really nice dresses and doing our hair up and, doing a dinner cruise. And then let's see, some of the war sites, obviously, the Edgar Allan Poe sites, the museum, and the grave locations. He actually was buried, then his body was relocated. So we'd like to see both. Inner Harbor, that's where all of these, like the National Aquarium and these different boats, ships, whatever, are located. We've read that we need to try the burger cookies and the Smith Island cake. Those are on the list. Let's see. Mariah wants to go to Little Italy. Oh, and to the B&O Railroad Museum. And we're so silly. We were looking at some Monopoly board game shirts. so that we're Disney people, okay? So we're into having, matching shirts and merch and stuff like that. So it'd be fun to do some Monopoly board game shirts when we go and visit the B&O Railroad Museum and stuff. I don't know. We're just dreaming and thinking. We do want to go to Ocean City, maybe stay out that way a night, and enjoy like a really nice, relaxed beach day, and build sandcastles. She really wants to do that. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, if we do make it up to Pennsylvania, I definitely want to see this Saks covered bridge. I'm a sucker for covered bridges. I just love them. And then, of course, Gettysburg, and to try to see a war reenactment or something like that. Anyway, that's where I've gotten so far. And it has been incredibly useful, incredibly helpful to be looking at, to be planning ahead, to be looking forward to things. Oh, the SS Constellation. That's another of the boats, ships, whatever, that's out there. There's also a water taxi. We can go out for a ride on that. Anyway, but it is so helpful when you're feeling like this to have things to look forward to, and it's amazing how it has turned my entire mood around this morning, where I was just so frustrated and pity party mode, tired of this and thinking, God, this is just never going to end. And then I busted out this book, which, I mean, come on, it's just fun and it's colorful and I love it. And started planning and researching and seeing the gardens and all those things. And it really does turn things around. It does. It really makes a difference. One update, this is so ugly, but it's drying out and healing. The Valtrex is absolutely working, and that is something else I'm going to try to do today, is to script an Ask Mama video. I have not done one of those in forever, and they are my most often watched and rewatched videos are my Ask Mama videos, and I'm going to do one about herpes. It's going to be an adventure, and I'm hoping to script a little bit of that today, do a little bit of research on it as I'm just kind of hanging out. I was really devastated yesterday by my accident. If you didn't see that little quick video, I was hell-bent on making dinner last night. I wanted to make some chilaquiles and some arroz, and I was getting all the ingredients together on the counter, knowing that it was still hours away, but I just wanted to have them out as like a motivation to make dinner, because Mariah was asking, can we eat dinner at the table? Okay. I wanted to do that. And the last thing I needed to get was the rice down. And I was so wiped out. It was only mid-morning. I was so wiped out. I was so dizzy. And I needed to just lay down, but I didn't listen to my body. I was stubborn. And so I got out the stepladder and got up there to get the rice. And I just elbowed my beautiful refinished shelf that I did with all my beautiful herbs from my garden in their glass bottles, knocked the whole thing off the wall. It absolutely broke my heart. It just really was so upsetting. It was so upsetting. It was just like, and after I cleaned that up, I did go to bed and I slept for hours and hours and hours and hours, which I definitely needed, but it was just kind of soul destroying. And I'll put it all back together. I'll get other bottles down and make new labels, but it was just really, really pretty devastating, to be honest. And so I think I kind of woke up with that this morning, but I needed to change tracks. I needed to get my mind right and sitting down, that's mostly what I've been doing anyway, but getting out the book and starting to plan, it matters. It has made a huge difference in how I'm feeling, and kind of my attitude, my mood, my outlook, all of it. So what do we learn from this? Well, one, if you're going to talk a bunch, use a cough drop. It helps. Two, patience. I'll be learning that lesson till I die. And then redirect, change tracks. When your brain is like stuck in a place, if you need a nap, okay, then God, take the nap, listen to your body. But then when these negative things happen, these accidents happen, these whatever, change tracks. What will that be for you? I don't know. It's different for everyone, but for me, it was, let's look forward. Not like forward a week where we'll finally be finishing up the antibiotics and hopefully be feeling better and able to like get out and about. No, let's look forward. And it's working. Maybe it'll work for you. I don't know. But I've been Julie, and this has been my journal, and I'm going to plan some more. And please, any thoughts that you have on any of these, there's also Delaware. Delaware's right there. And, if we can add more states, to the experience and be able to say, oh, we went to more states. Well, what the hell? Why not? They're right there. If we can make it work logistically, feasibly, reasonably, and make it worthwhile, not just for the purpose of saying, oh, we went to Delaware. Oh, it's Delaware. I've already been to Delaware. But anyway, if we can hit some of these other places, oh hell, why not? If it's worth doing on this trip. So any thoughts that my fellow travelers or people who've lived out there or whatever, thoughts that you have and suggestions and experiences and stuff that, might be helpful, please do tell us in the comments. And also tell us, tell me what things you're doing to help pull yourself out of, the sad, seasonal affective disorder and winter and the rough things and the struggles and the recoveries and the healing and the convalescence and the grieving. I know there's so many grieving and, just through the disappointments and what are you doing or what have you done to change tracks, to switch gears and to get kind of your mind right, to get on a better track than a pity party. Tell us all about it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and being so supportive and so wonderful. And I hope you have a beautiful day. I know I'm going to. It's still early. The day holds many wonders and possibilities. My paints are coming today. I ordered a big, huge pack of acrylic paints. So I'm going to finish painting the bunk bed for the Barbie kids in the Barbie dollhouse today, so that then as soon as I'm feeling safe getting up in the attic, it'll be a couple of days, we can get up there and look for the fabrics, or I can have, because I know exactly where they are, I can have one of the kids get the fabrics down, and Mimi and I can pick out fabrics for the blankets and pillows, for the bunk bed for the kids, and also to do some pillows for the sofas and the Barbie parents' bed and stuff in there. So I don't know if we're up to it. Maybe we'll get those fabrics down tonight or tomorrow. I'll let you know. But anyway, have a beautiful day. We'll see you all very soon.